All right, let's not back in. You ready? Everybody comes in. All right, so we're in 2.1.0. We're going to be on page 11. The first bullet point of page 11 is on the computer. On the 2.1.0 is the third bullet. If you in the book, it's the first bullet point of page 11. Top left. Underline the whole bullet point. And the insulating capability of protective equipment may be subject to damage during use. The insulating material shall be protected. Then we're going to skip over to the second paragraph of 2.2.0. Good? Following? I'm going to skip over to the second paragraph of 2.2.0. OSHA requires that all employees who may be exposed to high voltage hazards use electrical rated hard hats. Class E hard hats have the highest rating tested to withstand 20,000 volts for a period of 3 minutes. Imagine having 20,000 volts for 3 minutes. 2.2.0. know the old thing about that hole, a hole, like the same you had a like this plastic thing, and so the hole, one second, the wood is all about the wood. Yeah, you have a wood hole, or something there, and I mean, look at that's how much it is, and you find a wood hole, and something up here, I thought it was good. Yeah, you just have to. I did. So we got first two sentences of about that bill. Yes, no. It's going to it's going to be in the same but it's after the warning. After the classical warning. Welcome. I'm like, all right, so after the warning, underline the rubber protective equipment is available in two types. Type 1 designates rubber protective equipment that is manufactured of natural or synthetic rubber that is properly vulcanized. And type 2 designates equipment that is ozone resistant, made from any elastomer or combination of elastomeric compounds. We're on page 12. Um, we're still on the 2.2.0. We're after the warning. You guys know what vulcanized means? Yeah. So when they first discovered rubber, rubber is actually precast from a rubber tree, and it's called latex. And rubber, if you ever seen it, it's not the form, it comes out white when it fucking dries. When it dries, um, after it dries, after it comes to it's like a shit. Um, but it burns rubber at the right temperature. First off, it maintains its elasticity, but it fucking lasts not forever, for longer. Um, the process of making it last longer and making the rubber more effective last is called vulcanization. So they said that type 1 is rubber equipment that is manufactured of natural or synthetic rubber is properly, right? So it's properly fucking heated to a temperature that is not a some mm, and then type 2 designates equipment that is ozone resistant to any elastomer or combination of elastomeric compounds. Elastomeric compounds are compounds that act like rubber. So basically rubber is on the molecular scale is a bundle or a chain of molecules, right? And they're really fucking all over the place. They're fucking broken, right? But if you pull them, eventually they don't straighten out completely, but they lock into a fucking place where they sleep there, right? Elastomeric compound is the same thing, right? So like you have elastic and you have plastic compound. You have elastic information and you have plastic information. Elastic information means that I can stretch it or sometimes I can point. But plastic information means once I once I bend a certain position, I'm stuck with that. Right? Elastomeric compounds are compounds that will stretch and then come back to their original shape. The other line, just for context, you guys mind not talking while I'm talking? Just for context, ozone is a form of oxygen that is produced from electricity and is present in the air surrounding a conductor under high voltage. Normally, ozone is found at voltages of 10,000 volts higher. So it was found in electric utility transmission and distribution systems. Ozone, believe it or not, is not family voltage is 10,000 volts up. Like, we have an ozone layer in the sky. I think it's like fucking 20 miles above the sky. you do aerosols, definitely for the R12, R12 is the treatment that we can do more about all the more about refrigerators, um, food packaging, and the refrigerant, while it was pretty at something that we can make the air cold, the compound material is so small that it escapes through the, the little holes in the so no matter what you try to work well, it will only do over time. So like the older your system is, if it was hard to outgrow, it was always going to end up coming coming down to the food contract. That's why we change over to only use that how it is instead of it outgrow, it's more common to go that way. Like we had a CO2, you know, probably the best. You guys see on the 2.2.1, table 3, on the 2.2.1 table 3, um, yeah, we're on page 12. Underline every, underline and highlight every single one of those. Class 00, base tag, 500 volts. Class 0, red tag, 1,000 volts, so on and so forth, all the way to class 4. Class 4, orange tag, 3,600 volts, 36,000 volts. And then right after table 3, underline the first sentence. It must also be eventually tested every 6 months and any time to the value in question. Yeah. All right. Then you can underline the title for 2.2.2. Then we're going to skip this 1, 2, 3. The fourth bullet point, if you're on the computer, but if you're in the book, it's on page 13, the fourth bullet point top left. Huh? On the computer, the book. Computer, the fourth bullet point. Always inspect and field check gloves before using them. Always check the inside for any debris. That was really good, right? Yeah, underline fucking that bullet point. Always inspect and field check gloves before using them. Always check the inside for any debris. You guys know how to check gloves? Well, you can do that too. What you're supposed to do. I don't have my gloves right now, right? But if you were to picture, wait, so basically, what you would do is, let's say this is the glove right here. Go here, the glove. Fill it up, and then you can roll it. Roll it. Roll it to the bucket. Right? If for any reason the glove starts to flatten out, then there's a leak in it somewhere. You can't fucking see it. I don't you say it clearly. And if you really want to test it, you go back to the 5 minutes. If you go 5 minutes, you go to sleep, they're elected, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, this is exactly. Love included the fucking back. Yeah, literally, it was low guarantee, hold it. And if that love, right? You valid. If that love for some reason, you fucking act off, you fucking that love for good. I mean, it's there, like, you just go out, you know, like that, also like that, sleep like that. Whatever you do, think about whatever you do is careful. Like, you're in it. You don't want to take over something, take it on the air, and meanwhile, you put it in the field, and now it's fine, but it's still tough. So, you're good? Yeah. You're like a fucking, just on third hour. Mhm. There's like little by little, this stuff. Huh? Type shit. All right, so we're moving on to page 14 of the 2.2.3. We're going to skip the first paragraph. Yes, sir. We're going to skip the first paragraph, go on to the second paragraph, and underline the following two sentences. These blankets are designed and manufactured to provide insulating quality and flexibility for use in covering. Insulating blankets are designed only for covering equipment and should not be used on the floor. I'm tracking. We skip it over then again. 2.2.5. The first sentence, also paragraph of 2.2.5, read this up. This is what you underline. A hot stick is an insulated tool designed, that makes no sense. And insulated tools, right? It should be hot sticks are insulated. A hot stick is an insulated tool designed for the manual operation of disconnecting switches, fuse removal and insertion, and the application and removal of temporary glass. So basically, the hot stick is a fiberglass rod that is used to fucking pull a circuit breaker that has a really high voltage behind it open, right? Pull it to disconnection. Um, yes, exactly, exactly. And there's a reason we use them. And non-conductive, and a lot of times we're going to these switches and the fucking there's an arc flash. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's how you gonna be doing your work when you work in the hospital. What is that for? Well, this is just a random show. That is not a transformer. That's a switch. Like very high switch. Yeah, yeah. This is he's opening that up. Like, this is roughly right now, open down here, down to this shit, and up into the rest of the body. Now, I think it's putting that shit right? That's what I think. Because there's no electricity running through this part right here. Like, that is what's that's just keeping the wire together so that the wire can fucking maintain its tension and stay. Right? Yeah, running through that that is actually Yes and no. Yes and no. They end up learning the reform and the rules. A lot of the rules are written in blood.
All right. The audience session. I can call you. All right.
I don't want to leave you. But send me 50. Like, I don't want to leave you with the money and you get it from the important. I saw a copy in the back of that. All right, so you guys got 2.2.5, right? Then the first sentence of 2.2.6. Use the plastic or fiberglass style for the removing and installing. You got it? And then 2.2.7, underline the whole fucking paragraph. Before working on de-energized circuits that have capacitors installed, you must discharge the capacitor using a safety shorting probe. This procedure requires special training and may only be performed by qualified individuals. So I used to have to do that shit for me. All of our shit was like, specifically on my boat, all of our shit was like the legend. So the things as they got better, they got smaller, smaller, more efficient, all the stuff in that every fucking thing. And I can shut off the power of my cabinet, sign it out, make sure that it's electrically safe for everyone. But capacitor, what do capacitors do? They're like batteries. They hold voltage. So I would have to go and fucking short out that fucking capacitor so that I can go into the cabinet and safely work on whatever fucking work on. So the way I needed to work on these things was I had to put on cash code, right? Which looks like a fucking welding road. I mean a welding mask. I needed these long hats and I needed gloves. I needed to do the fucking right. So that I put here, roll it up, see what they got it. And then I needed this they made them out of glass and epoxy. The shorting probe. The shorting probe was a fucking piece of metal on the tip, like a metal sphere, and the end of it was alligator clip. Everybody knows what an alligator clip is? No. An alligator clip basically looks like a fucking like a hair clip with teeth, right? A fucking metal clip, and I had to stick it to a fucking bare piece of metal on the boat. And once I put the bare piece of metal on the boat, then I would go and I would touch the capacitor, and there'd be a bright ass fucking flash of light. It's like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Every single time it's always violet. There's no like, oh I touch it, goes boom, and you don't react to it. Every single time you're fucking confused. You know what I'm saying? But this is the only thing that starts the capacitor without fucking waiting 3 days for the capacitor to finally break down. Section review. Periodic inspection and testing of protective equipment is required by, that's a given, right? Everybody knows OSHA is being protected. Rubber protective equipment with a beige tag rated for a table 3, 500 volts. Yo, I hope that shit didn't leak out. Appreciate you picking that up.
Can you stay, do you have a good 2 seconds?
What time is it? I'm going to that at the end of class. I literally 30 seconds. All right, so we're in section 3, and we're at 3.1.2. We're skipping the first 2 courses on page 15, following the book. Not paying attention, no one actually what? Huh? Employees are responsible? Oh, yeah, so 3.1.2. So we the first 2 courses in section 1. Then we're going to skip the first sentence after the second portion. It's the last paragraph of the 3.1.2. Skip the first sentence. As discussed earlier, the 2 that affect the most are CFR 1926, the standard for construction industry, and CFR 1910, the standard for general industry. Either or both may apply depending on where you are looking and what you're doing. Right before 3.1.2. Now we're at 3.1.3. We're going to skip the first paragraph, and we're going to skip the first line. The second paragraph. Okay? Sure. Let's skip the first paragraph, and I'm going to say, as stated in CFR 1910-33 Alpha / 1926.416 on the safety underline here. Huh? Word, safety, underline here. Work practices shall be employed to prevent electric shock or other injuries resulting from either direct or indirect electrical contact when work is performed near or on equipment or circuits that are or may be energized. And underline. So, yo, if you don't feel comfortable working on an energized circuit, and your fucking employer comes to move you to work in an energized circuit, you can tell them that you will do fine. Because CFR 1933 out of 26. Yeah, I think I did. Oh, 1910 33 alpha / 1933. If they tell you to work on a live circuit and it's unsafe to do so, you shall not. Do not have to work on live equipment. As stated by fucking OSHA. Huh? Yo, there's mad times where you don't want to go through the whole process of setting system. You can't turn off the system because you have to tag it out. You have to tag it out, you have to go to the PC to tag it out. So people do the yo, you work on it live, fuck it. You're gonna turn everybody else's shit on this whole fucking thing, bro. Just do it. Hey, And granted, I'm not gonna fuck this. A lot of times you're like, yo, you know what I could do? Yo, you make that decision yourself. You let somebody to tell you, yo, nah, you know what I'm saying? What I said, I better be getting paid $60 an hour after minimum. And at the same time, I think I must be viable. But you know what? This shit is good. Or yo, this shit is 277. I got my price. This shit is anything over 1,000 votes. It's fucking free. Yeah, this is it could be like, yeah, all this. Yeah, or you bugging the fuck out. It depends. For transmission lines, you look at over 7,000 votes. If you're looking at long distance, like country fucking votes time, you're looking at over 70,000 votes. Huh? Several times. It will dry you when you push it because you won't blow the breaker. How much current goes through it? You being part of the circuit, you feel nothing to that breaker. You're gonna get fired. You're never gonna come to the up. All right, moving on to page 20. We're on the fourth bullet point of page 20. If you're looking for it, it's that one that so I cannot tell other people where the fuck is that. So in the book, page 20, the fourth bullet point. Any section 590.6 requires that all 125 volt single phase, 15 amp, 20 amp, and 30 amp respectable outlets used to provide temporary or permanent power for construction and maintenance activities must be ground fault protected. Again, NEC section 590.6 requires that all 125 volt single phase 15 amp, 20 amp, 30 amp percentile outlets used to provide temporary or permanent power for construction and maintenance activities must be ground fault protected. So if you're doing protection anywhere, I mean, if you're doing construction anywhere, or right? So if I got an extension cord, into my fucking my waxing machine, like the waxing floor, wherever I'm doing, that extension cord should be ground fault protected. Or the outlet that I plug my extension cord into, I know it should be ground fault protected. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So either the extension cord should have it, or the outlet to plug it in. Skip to the next bullet point, the following bullet point. Flexible cord shall be used in continuous lengths without splices unless permitted by NEC section 13 and shall be of a type listed in NEC table 400. Following GFCI protection is required for NEC section 590.6 Bravo 1 if any number. If GFCI protection is not used, the written word equipment ground the program must be continuously enforced at the site. The overall site. Yeah. Okay, then after the first sentence on page 21, top left, right after the case history. All work on electrical should be done with circuits de-energized and cleared or grounded. And the first sentence of 3.1.4 on page 22. OSHA lockout tagout rule covers the specific procedure to be followed for the servicing and maintenance of machines and equipment and otherwise. That's it. In which the unexpected energization or startup of the machine or equipment overreach of the stored energy should cause Why do you keep saying okay? Because it was you. Okay. So the issue here is that the issue is that these papers, instead of being taped so that people don't go with it, they should get out. That way, not only does the person who turned it off and taped it knows that this should be off. Anybody who's completely alive knows that in the bar, there's no tagged out with specific people. There's no and you fucking just have to fucking tag out. You get what I'm saying? Tag out is important, but tag out is not alive. And anything I can walk to the closet, unfucking take that shit, turn this shit on, and fucking kill it. Everybody's done that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But if you have a comprehensive tag out program, everything is loud, everything, and whatever goes into the transaction, it's going to be found out. What do you want to do that? Skip the first two sentences of 3.0. When we start at the National Electrical Code provides the minimum requirements for the electrical system, the recommended practice of electrical equipment maintenance, and the 75. Details of preventative maintenance for electrical equipment and standards for electrical safety in the workplace and BSME practical safe working requirements relative to hazards arising from use of it. Um, well, yes and no, right? This is only a one-on-one thing. But at the same time, lockout tagout is different depending on each construction that's doing. Like lockout tagout in Brooklyn is different from lockout tagout in Queens, is different from lockout tagout in Manhattan, is different from lockout tagout in Westchester, and Norfolk, Suffolk County. Look, there's reasons why it is great. This is what we're talking about. Yeah, you can just move everything out there, and yeah, literally one by one, literally one by one, take it. Yeah, yeah, what you want is not like that you that what we look for. And if you you can walk around the yourself and check it out. It's one you do it. Yeah, exactly. So, then from there, whatever they want, most people work, like, use that on the kids. This will probably be. Yeah. All right, we got a couple of minutes before we go get assignments. We have 9 minutes before we start the assignments. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, you would leave after that assignment is done, but that doesn't guarantee that I'm not about to go out, right? I'll do it. I'll say 8:10. 8:10 is home free. Um, yeah. What's that other one I gave you? It was the second sentence. Yeah, that was long as fuck. All right. So after the bullet points are over, the fourth paragraph, after the bullet points are over, right? The fourth paragraph, second sentence. Yeah, the second sentence, the following sentence after general requirement. The purpose of this section is to provide for the information relative to electrical hazards in underline that. Yes. All right, then 3.2.1, skip the first paragraph. If you're in the book, it's the top right. So page 27. If you're on the computer, I'm pretty sure you skip the first paragraph. It's the second paragraph. Distance is the best protection against electrical hazards. If you look at it before, it shows you what the distance is from the type of. And then I'm skipping over to page 31 or 3.2.2. You'll see that there's a blue word, error precursor highlighted. Underline that sentence. Error precursors are situations that put a worker at risk due to the demands of the task, conditions, worker attitude, and or environment. Yo, you guys are gonna come around people who don't give a fuck. Bro. You guys are gonna come around people who are like, bro, man, I'm gonna fuck up that shit, bro. I'm gonna go over here, come along with me or not, whatever. Yeah, I can get themselves through. So, there are people like that, bro. These black kids, who never paying attention, they're in the degrees, that bullshit, and they drag you down. And they, No. What I'm saying is, well, yeah, sometimes. Like if you're working in if you're doing fucking diagnostic, shit like that, right, you're gonna be working around inherently hazardous situations. So, yo, power works on once and all, power and all. Everything that's such a system is that. You have to, if that's your job, you go over there, that's safe. All right, if you don't feel comfortable with the job, go somebody else who is comfortable. If that's your job. This is the thing. Section 3 review. The OSHA or lockout tagout rule applies only to those employees performing electrical work. Applies to any stored energy that can cause injury, whether it's electrical, mechanical, hydraulic, or other, represents the most stringent requirements and supersedes such procedures, or only applies to government work. I like that. B as in Bravo applies to any stored energy that can cause injury. NFPA 70E standards cover the minimum installation requirements for electrical equipment, manufacturing specifications for electrical equipment, practical safe working requirements relative to electrical hazards, or operating instructions for electrical equipment. Understand? Practical safe working requirements relative to electrical hazards. All right, we got less than 5 minutes. Section 4. All right, we're on page 34 for the next underline. Page 34 for the next underline. That's on the 4.1.1. After the warning, in the first bullet point, the last line of that bullet point. Or just underline the second sentence. Always place a straight ladder at the proper angle. Underline this. The horizontal distance from the ladder feet to the base of the wall or support should be about 1/4 the working height of the ladder. And underline. Let's skip the following bullet point and hit the next one. What? After the warning for 4.1.1, after the warning, it talks about straight extension ladders at the second sentence of the first bullet point. You got that now? At the first bullet point, the second sentence of the first bullet. We good? Somebody show that? And then we're going to the third bullet point. Underline the whole fucking bullet point. Side rails should extend above the top support by at least 36 inches, which is 3 fucking feet. This provides stability as well as a handhold when stepping around the ladder. Yo, this is going and we skip to the 4.1.2 on page 36. So if you see what's wrong with this picture, I'm looking at the second bullet point on that page, on page 36. Sorry? Yeah, so it says each end of a platform, unless cleated or otherwise restrained by hooks or equivalent means, must extend over the center line of the support by at least 6 inches, but no more than 12 inches, or 10 feet or less in length, or 18 inches, or platform longer than 10 feet. We got that? Who don't got it? We good? All right. So then we're moving on to lift equipment, 4.1.3. The sixth bullet point. Do not use equipment that you are not qualified to operate when they give it. And then the second to last bullet point. Let me look at moving too fast. Only people who have been trained in rigging should ever do rigging for a lift. It is extremely easy for a load to fall out of an inappropriately rigged lift. One of my father, he was a iron worker for over 40 years. His closest friends had a fucking window pane, 600 fucking glass window pane. No. Yeah. He lived, but he has crippling back pain. But yeah, yeah, no. When he opened his legs, when he couldn't fucking when he can't. His vein. Yeah, he's a really sweet guy, bro. He's really close to God and shit. He's perfect. All right, moving on to page 38. After all the bullet points are done for 4.2.0, proper lift technique, right? After all the bullet points are finished, underline the first two sentences. I'm on page 38. Yeah. Lifting puts an extraordinary amount of pressure on your back. For example, if you bend from the waist to pick up an object weighing X, you are applying 10 times the amount of pressure or 10 times to the lower back and underline. Yo, that is a proven fact. That is a fucking proven fact. When you take a 40-pound dumbbell, and me and my little brother, we call these money, right? If you ever do like a straight leg deadlift, right, you always see the fucking, the work on the glutes. When you take a 40-pound dumbbell and you fucking lift that up, you fucking 400 pounds pressure on the lower back. So you don't maintain proper posture, you can hear it, you can push your leg, and you literally sever your fucking fourth vertebrae when you touch the system, which is the pelvis, the exit your pelvis. You need to fucking do those fucking lifts safely and securely. Every time you go down to pick something up that's heavier than fucking, I would say heavier than 40 pounds, then you fucking because people fucking horrible fucking leg strength. You ever see people get up like this? If you gotta put your hands on and stand up, you're out of shape. 4.3.1. I said, if you gotta put your hands down and stand up anywhere, you're out of shape. You have to put your hands down and stand up. You're out of shape. Yo, you should be able to be on the floor, crisscross applesauce, and fucking stand up. You know, without using your hands. If you gotta fucking like that, yo, you see that now? As you get older, watch people. Even then, look at your OGs. Watch them stand up, bro. No, everybody got a grandmother who fucking every move she makes, they holding their fucking breath. 750. It's open on campus. It's an open-ended assignment on campus. All right, I guess I'll give you the underline another day. Well, I'm gonna go down. I gotta use the bathroom, so I'm gonna use the bathroom and I'll come back and take a minute. Huh? It's on campus. So end of the day, assignment parallel circuit. You'll see when you see this. It's 430% your grade. I go with the rest of the assignment. Yeah, we do. mean, you can leave that out.
You got the lead, but
If y'all. If you have 10 minutes, it's not